to be a remarkable recruiter, or if you want to be a remarkable developer of directors, you may want to listen.
Oh my God, what an incredible night this was. My head is bursting with information. But I wanted to share my journey with all of you. And for those of you that don't know me, I've been in the business for 18 years. And those of you that have heard my story, I'm going to make you listen to it again because I think it's really important. Because up until 3 years ago, I never recruited. Barely ever did I recruit. Years ago, you needed 8 people to earn the top level trip. And it was always like December 1st, and I had 6, and I was scrounging for those last 2. And it was like, oh my God, I gotta get the last 2 on the trip. And I would usually get it, sometimes I didn't. But 3 years ago, something happened in my business because they announced the Mediterranean cruise, and it was something that I had always dreamed about going on. And I knew that it was not something we could have ever afforded to do. So when that trip came out, I said, oh my God, what am I ever gonna do to earn this trip? Because they upped the recruiting requirements to 12. And I could barely get 8. So what do you do in this business when you need help? You call up some of the incredible people that are always so willing to share, and that's the best part about this business. Everyone is so willing to share. I mean, I can't even thank Love Carpenter and Tanya Brzezowski for our 1 o'clock in the morning phone calls, because I wouldn't be where I was in my business without their incredible guidance. So I called up a good friend of mine, Jillian Grant. I said, Jillian, you're the most amazing recruiter that I know. I have to go with you to a show. And Jillian always had a ton of bookings. She always had a ton of recruits. And I thought I was going to see the greatest show in the world. But when I got there, it was a cute, fun, adorable show. But I kept saying to myself, my God, it's good, but I think maybe my show's a little bit better. I'm not really getting what's going on here. And that's the truth. And at the end of her show, her real show began. Because Jillian had the most incredible show closing that I had ever seen. She talked about the business opportunity with the same passion that you all talk about your favorite products. And you have to ask yourself, if you sell a lot of mix and chops, if you sell a lot of rock rocks or the double burner grill pan, why are you selling those? Because like you learned here tonight, you've created a vision that these people cannot live without these products. And recruiting is no different. And when I went to Jillian's show, I don't know what happened to me. I had an aha moment, and I listened to her doing that show closing, and I listened to her talk about this company and what it's done for her and her family, and I said, holy cow, I've been selling the wrong thing. I never really got it. So I left that night, and I said to myself, oh my God, I'm going to change, not my show, but I'm going to change my whole attitude. And it wasn't that I didn't love my job. I always loved this job. But I guess I wasn't communicating it the way I should have. I was kind of just going through the motions. And you know, like Kathy was using me as an example, and we laughed about it the other day. I had 2 small children at home when I started, and I didn't want to leave my house till the last possible moment. I wanted as much time with them as I could get. Most of the times I was running off the baseball field, soccer field to get to my show. So I used to get there at the exact same time as everybody else was arriving. I barely had any contact with them. I would set up my thing, they would be doing their thing, I would start my show, I'd go home, that would be it. So no surprise that I wasn't sharing the business opportunity. So back up, I go with Jillian to her show. It was the first week in April. I thanked her when I walked out the door and I said, tonight, I just know you changed my life. And she's like, just remember, the fortune is in the follow-up. I said, I got it, I got this. That month, I recruited 9 people. I had never recruited 9 people in a year, let alone in 30 days. And I remember the home office called me and they said, we're watching. Is this like a fluke or is this gonna happen again? And I said, oh my God, I know what I was doing wrong for all of these years. And now I'm going to talk about this business with the same passion that I talk about the products. So I'm going to tell you a little funny story. Jill Lerner and I, we grew up together. She's my director. We're very good friends. When I first started, you needed 6 people, like somebody mentioned, every month to be active with at least $150 for you to hit your requirements. I had been a senior director for a very long time, and I had very responsible directors. I didn't have to coach them. They coached their own people. And I wasn't recruiting, so I had 6 people on my personal team. 6. So Jill would call me up and she'd say, you know what? Do I have to worry about you going green? You have 6 people on your team. Maybe you want to start recruiting. I'm like, leave me alone. It's just not something I do good. Just let me go out and sell. I was always a good seller. I always had a strong business. Recruiting was just not something that I did. So fast forward 3 months later, I go with Jillian to this show, and my recruiting cycle began. That year, I went from having 6 people on my personal team to having 103. So when you see the girls come up and show you that comparison of what will happen to you when you share the business opportunity, that is something that I am so passionate about, because at the end of the day, our products are incredible, but they don't change lives. The business opportunity changes people's lives. $1,000 might not be a lot of money to a lot of people in this room, but $1,000 to some people is life-changing. $500 extra a month is life-changing to people. So when you share the business opportunity, you are changing lives. There is no two ways about it. And now I have to tell you, I arrive at my show 30 minutes before the invite, because I recruit a lot of my hosts. And how do you recruit your hostesses? By building that relationship with them. This is a relationship building business. They buy in spite of you. They're at that party to support their friends. They are going to buy no matter what. The sale is a gimme. They book and sign on because of you. You've heard it here so many times tonight. This is a relationship building business. They have to like you to book with you, and they have to really, really like you to sign on with you. So I get to my show about 30 minutes early now. I have that relationship with my host, and I'm completely done. And I am usually answering the door when the guests are arriving. I've gotten to know every single one of them before I start. I've listened to them, who hates their job, who dreads getting up so early in the morning, who's missing all their kids' games. And I know who I'm going to sign on before the show has even started, because I know who loves the products, I know who's selling them for me before the show even started and during the show. So this business, honestly, is the greatest thing we sell in the catalog. We sell the business. It's in the back of the catalog. You need to sell that back page of the catalog as often as you sell whatever favorite product that you're selling now. You need to ask yourself, what is it that you sell the most of? And if you rehearse in your mind, or even say it out loud, the words that you're saying to sell that product, you will realize why you're selling it. You've created that vision. And the business opportunity is no different. So people always say to me, I don't recruit, and a good friend of mine just said it to me recently. She said, Sharon, I don't recruit because honestly, I don't really want to train people. It's annoying to me, it's a lot of work, and I just rather go out and do my shows. Let me tell you something. It's not annoying. It's an incredible feeling to know that you help someone. But let me just tell you what it does, not only for their family, but what it does for your family. My own husband, every month when I get paid, still cannot even believe how much money I sell, how much money I make selling stones and spatulas. I'm not bragging, and I'm going to share my numbers with you because I want you guys to understand what you are capable of. I make almost $10,000 a month making focaccia pizza and chocolate milk muffins. I know my beliefs. I will tell you that right now. And you don't have to be. This business is so simple and so easy. Women love to come out, they love to shop, they love to schmooze, they love to eat, and we sell something that appeals to everybody. We have the greatest opportunity out there. What we sell is not a luxury, it's a necessity. I always say at my shows, I don't know if it's good or bad, but every house has a kitchen. We have to feed them something. So that's why we're around as long as we are. That's why we're so successful, because everyone can relate to what we sell. And as far as, is it hard to recruit that many people? People say that to me all the time. How do you sell? How do you recruit? How do you develop leaders? You must be crazy busy. I am, but it's a good crazy busy. And last year, the Pampered Chef blessed me by sending me to the UK to speak at their leadership summit. And I took a training course with one of their national directors, their only national director, Sue Caldwell, and she was amazing. And she said that every single day, you wake up and you go in your office and you work on your personal business. Because without a personal business, you don't have any business. So the first thing you need to do is work on your show bookings, your scheduling, your host coaching, your recruit leads, and then you move on to your team. And that will just become the way you do it. When I get up every day, I go in my office and I work on Sharon's business. And then I go to my personal team and then I go to my organization. And let me tell you something. It's the greatest job in the world, but you have to nurture it every day. When you treat it like a business, everyone in your family will treat it like a business. When you respect it, everybody else will respect it. When my kids were little, they knew when Mommy went in her office, Mommy had to work. But Mommy was able to buy them and give them a lot of things that they couldn't have had. My kids couldn't have traveled the world the way they did without the pampered chef. I wouldn't have been able to give them the luxuries that they were able to have growing up if it wasn't for this business. So I heard someone say, don't use your kids as an excuse. It should be the reason that you do what you do. But I promise you, if you go home and you evaluate your business, and you think about what you sell the most, if you make it the business opportunity, you too, you know, I look at you guys sitting out there and I'm like, that was me. Year after year, I would watch all these people come up here and I would say, that'll never be me. I'm just your average consultant doing an average job. But I just want you all to know it is never too late, because in 1 year, I was able to turn my business around. And here's the thing, if you want to develop leaders, you have to recruit. It's a cycle. First, you build a pool of people to work with, and then you can develop them. You have to be able to have those people that you're going to go up to and you're going to say, you know, I just came back from national conference. I learned incredible techniques on how to be a better leader. I want to work with a bunch of people on my team to move forward. Are you interested? But if you don't have any people to say that to, you can't develop any leaders. So the first thing you have to do is you have to share the business opportunity. And once you do that, then you can go back to that pool of people and you could work with them to move forward. But recruiting in this business, it's not optional, it's mandatory. If you don't share the business opportunity, you will be in the same place every single year. I was a senior director for probably 10 years. I'm embarrassed to say I didn't develop a director for probably over 10 years. I was very comfortable in my senior director chair and I was never willing to do what it took to move forward. But once I decided and I set a goal that it's finally my time and I'm going to move forward, you have to just work on that pool of people. And then once you have those pool of people to work with, then you can develop leaders. So I hope you have a great conference, and I hope that you all go home and share the opportunity with everybody, because it's the best thing we offer.